Just make your job easy.
Gut-wrenching scenes for the Power supporters, witnessing Groundhog Day heartbreak, the recurring nightmare, a goal after the siren, sealing their fate. It wasn't, of course, an elimination final like last year, but it might as well have been the way this 2018 season is panning out. Jeremy McGovern, the All-Australian defender, the people's champ, of course he rises to the challenge and puts it through. West Coast in a box seat now to finish top two and two home finals in 2018. Welcome to a very exciting episode of Eagle Review, proudly sponsored by Kennards Hire. Been with us all season. Thank you very much. Benny Roberts.
Hey.
Oh my goodness, being there, it was unbelievable scenes yet again. Such a deflated crowd, and it was so exciting and breathtaking to witness the suffering firsthand. Jeremy McGovern, of course, the great man, steps up. Here are a couple of his gems that he offered immediately post-game.
Oh yeah, it was good. It went in. She didn't come off the agate too well, but I was just worried about aiming at that right-hand goalpost, and she ended up going in. Yeah, I got a little bit lost. I drifted down forward. We had to equalise. We knew that they were trying to save the game, so I had to send it back to do a forward's job, and I guess I did in the end.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And look, I was there last year for the final and wasn't there this time. You were there this time, not there last year, so we've both been to one. Geez, they're an unhappy bunch, the Port fans particularly, working around the boundary post-game after a win for us like that and a loss for them. 17 inside 50s to 10 in the last quarter, particularly early, there was 10 in a row. Did you think, okay, the damn wall's going to burst here?
Well, a lot of missed chances. I think if we lost that game, we'd be ruining a couple of the missed opportunities, not only shots at goal, but entries inside forward 50. I mean, we were coming in full head of steam and letting it down.
Almost some issues there with some messaging from the coach's box down to the field.
What happened there?
Well, people were saying that there was 40 seconds to go when there was 4 seconds to go, I believe.
Shannon Hearn was telling everyone 4 minutes. That's a bit of a mare when you're the captain, telling everyone 4 minutes when there's 40 seconds to go.
Slight difference there in what you're going to do when you get the football.
Did you ever think he was going to miss?
Sometimes when he kicks for goal, things don't always go to plan. I thought, I'm not as confident as I was with Luke last year, put it that way.
Well, have a look at his set shot record that Fox put up. They would have been nervous for everyone watching.
I backed him in, but I wasn't as confident as I was with Luke, and he got it done. Good scene.
Tell you what, the Jamie Cripps tap and the Jack Darling handball, absolutely instrumental with a minute and a half remaining to get Lecker's goal. Tremendous grit and determination from the boys. I mean, to not lead all day and to
zero
time in front. Surely that hasn't happened before, but
no. Well, I don't know how many times it's happened, but the last time it has happened, the last time was 13 years ago. Big Barry Hall put one through after the siren. But look, it would be very, very rare.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have to touch on it because West Coast, amazing comeback, but these three Port Adelaide injuries in the third quarter, absolute turning points of the game, weren't they?
Absolutely, and three key players, Ryder with the hip flexor, Dixon with his ankle, Houston with that big hit with Archie, and this a collision.
I mean, we were down 28 points with 5 minutes remaining in this term. All of a sudden, they happen in those 5 minutes, and look how the game swings.
Yeah, I know. Injuries are a part of football, and yes, they certainly played a part in the outcome of this one.
Tell you what the biggest moment was. Have a look at Dixon here, running into an open goal, had 15 metres on Tom Barras, heading back to an open goal square. Chad Wingard decides to send a pitching wedge to him. All of a sudden, Dixon says, I got to double back and get this. Bang, ankle gone. I'm blaming Chad Wingard for one of the most sliding moments of the game. But we were slow out of the blocks, Benny. 5 goals to 1. Some poor skill execution and giving Port Adelaide the corridor early in the game. Port Adelaide dominated time and possession. It was 56% to West Coast 27, 36 more disposals. But the one goal was so instrumental from Elliot Yeo, really got us moving at the right time.
Yeah, and Yoey, he's been good this year, and again, just stood up at the weekend, one of our best for sure. Is he, just very quickly, a sneaky Brownlow chance, Gaff, Yoey?
Oh, Gaff, I think you mentioned it. There'll be a lot of chase.
Gaffy will take a lot of his votes early.
Absolutely.
But I reckon he's coming home reasonably hard. And it was his 100th game for the West Coast Eagles as well, so a memorable one after Jack had his 150th game in the final last year. So those boys will be talking about their milestone games for a long time to come.
Wasn't just the Jeremy McGovern show though. A lot of Eagles put their hand up and were different makers on the day. Scott Lycett, a massive one, especially when Ryder went down, but even before, was doing a fantastic job in tandem with Nathan Vardy. I thought he was curtains for a little bit when he had this head knock with Jack Redden.
Lip looks good.
Oh, looked horrendous. This was actually what he attributed to after the game.
Yeah, so basically Reynolds got a massive head and didn't see it coming. I don't know how. And it caught me fair in the lip. So luckily enough, could keep playing and contribute to the team.
Yeah, so a big effort under duress. Some other guys, can I run through some other guys I scribbled down during the game? I thought Lecker was very good and had a presence, a lot of football, a bit more than usual, and a lot of just the stuff. Simo said his leadership after the game, key to these young forwards, and I think one of his better games. Tom Barras, boy, oh boy, that was a cracker from him. I reckon that's his best game for the year. Probably maybe the Giants game early in the year, but that was a ripper.
Thought it was Archie's best game of the year, speaking of which.
Yep, doing a few new little things there, Brendan.
Finding out Houston was pretty decent too.
Yeah, absolutely. But what about Liam Ryan? I thought he was particularly late, very dangerous. Now we'll get to his mark in a moment, but just his smother, things without the footy, his pressure, his chasing. It was very, very good, building the confidence, and hopefully that can build along with Willie over the next couple of weeks.
The mark was something else. I think Port Adelaide fans were claiming touch. You're absolutely dreaming over there, Power fanatics, but thought he was a shoe-in for mark of the day. Jack Darling gave it a fair run. I reckon that is equally high in the difficulty level, and thought he had mark of the round absolutely sewn up. Yeah. Isaac Heaney, what are you doing?
Heaney comes off and probably takes what will be mark of the year. So if you're going to have a crack, you try and do it away from that, but that's the best one he's taken for the year, and I dare say he might take another one over the next couple of weeks.
Well, have a look at this. This is late in the piece. When you can kick it 65 on a dime, getting over your teammate's defender as well, that is really special stuff. Don't take that for granted, folks.
But if Bunga's ever off or can't take the kick for whatever reason, I think I've found the new man to do this. Chris Marston.
Who?
The super boot, Chris Marston. Dobbing goals from 55 out. Halfway up the goalpost, if you don't mind. That's the biggest kick he's ever done.
Nice work, Master. Time for Kennards Roast of the Round. Plenty to get through. We're going to start with old mate behind the goals, falling off his chair trying to mark this one. That's a bit embarrassing. Speaking of just falling over, Shannon Hearns joined the party. I don't know what he's tripped over there. No good.
Jeremy McGovern, best hands in the game. Hard to argue with that. Took the mark at the end of the game to then win it, but dropped this absolute soda early in the game and then gave away the free kick as well. So that was an issue. Lecker, sublime skills as we know for a very long time. This is one of the worst he's ever done kicking that, and potentially got Jez injured, got him walloped in the process, so Lecker, something to think about.
No good there. Dixon and Wines running into each other on the field. Do you think there's enough room out there on an AFL Oval to not do this? Apparently not. He may have possibly taken mark of the year, but a couple of these goal attempts from Liam Ryan, they went well astray. Looks like an electrifying player. A couple of swings and misses there though, Liam.
What about these couple of spoils? Not their best efforts. Howard there, no good, but what about Ebert and Pittard? No talk.
Nervous times
Could have
back there.
Just take the mark, old son.
Panic stations.
Yep, absolutely. Oh my God. Now this one. Liam Ryan, he just taking the mark, just kicked the first goal, gets on the end of another one, coming hard, and then this power trainer waddles into the scene.
Tactics, you reckon?
No, just stupidity, no awareness, and from the umpire, ordinary not to go, no, 50, that's 50. Anyway, we won the game, who cares, but just lift.
Jeremy McGovern making Johnson look like an Oz kicker here, just taking candy from a baby in the back half.
Shannon Hearn being talked about, celebrated this year. What a season he's having, and the darling of the All-Australian selection committees unofficially across the country. Captain material, is the favourite for the captaincy for All-Australian. That should be the case. Have a look at the super here from Fox Footy, talking to the one and only Shannon Hurt.
That is no good whatsoever. While we're roasting people, graphics and whatnot, we're going to have one of our own team here, the social media crew. Oh, that's not very clutch at all, looking for Jeremy McGovern here. Don't know how many manual cars you've driven, Benny, but...
Is that the break?
Yeah, I think you'd be in a few traffic accidents. You get them confused. But in the end, the roast of the round and the winner, probably a serious one. This is a key moment of the game.
Salt in the wounds here.
On the stroke of three-quarter time, old Aiden Johnson coming in and delivering a very illegal hit to Tom Cole's face. Just taking back a certain goal from the Power. They have momentum going into the final break. A 4-goal lead. We showed, it's proven how tough it was to come back from a 3-goal lead. That is a big mistake, and you should have had no drinks with any of your teammates after the game. You've been banished to the black hole.